Today in this video, we're going to talk about how to budget to buy a house. What you need to do with your finances and your credit to get ready to buy a house. Check it out. Hi, I'm Rhonda Burgess, and I'm a real estate broker and mortgage underwriter here in Nashville, Tennessee, and my firm is Southern Living Realty Partners. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to budget when you're getting ready to try to buy a house. You know, I'm a big proponent. I talk about all the time, you got to do your homework ahead of time, okay? And I know a lot of you all, with these new FHA rules and regulations coming out in August, you're biting at the bit to buy a house. But there's some things we need to do ahead of time to get ready. Whether you're going to try to buy in August or December or next June, whatever, there's things you need to do when you're going to try to buy a house. The first thing you need to do is you need to figure out exactly how much are you going to try to buy. You either need to, if you're here local in the Nashville area, you need to go to our Nashville MLS. I'll link my website down below, NashvilleHomesForSaleOnline.com. If you're not here in the local area, I suggest maybe you go to Realtor.com and you need to start looking at what the houses are selling for in the area where you want to buy. I get calls all the time from people that want to move or buy a house here in Nashville, and they have no idea what the price range is. They have no idea. You're thinking, okay, yeah, I want to do something for like $175, and there's nothing for me to show you in our market for $175. Maybe a one-bedroom condo sometimes, but other than that, there's nothing for me to show you. So what you need to do is make sure that you do your homework ahead of time and know how much it is you're trying to buy. Not only that, when you go to Realtor.com or you go to the local MLS and you find a house in the area that has what you need, the 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, whatever it is you need, 4 bedrooms, whatever it is, okay? Make sure to make a note of how much the property taxes are, because you're going to need to know that number in order to truly calculate your DTI, okay? So make sure you make a note of the property taxes, and then you may want to also see if you can get an estimate or a guesstimate of how much the homeowner's insurance is going to be. Some of these websites, some of these insurance websites will let you put in like a purchase price or maybe even an address to see how much the property tax, the homeowner's insurance will be, because you're going to need to have an idea of that also. Once you have the price, the taxes, the yearly taxes amount, and we have a guesstimate of homeowner's insurance, sometimes, a lot of times, I just like to use $125 a month, because I found that to be roundabout average, at least here in my Nashville market. Okay, it may be more or less where you're at, but I use $125 no matter where I'm at. Okay, so I'm gonna put a link down below to my website where you can use the mortgage calculator, because it's gonna ask you how much are the yearly taxes? How much is the homeowner's insurance? Because you need these numbers. You need to know these numbers in order to calculate your DTI so you can get your budget together, okay? So once you have all that information, I want you to go to my my website and use the mortgage calculator. It's rhondaburgess.com/mortgage-calculator, and I'm going to put a link below. That way you need to figure out what your PITI is, your principal and interest, the taxes, the property taxes, and the homeowner's insurance. Also, on that mortgage calculator, there's a spot in there where you can figure out your PMI, your private mortgage insurance. If you're doing an FHA loan and you're putting less than 20% down, you will have mortgage insurance. You will have PMI to pay monthly. Again, PMI does nothing for you. It's for the lender. It's insurance. It's an insurance policy that the lender takes out against you, and you pay the premiums on it. It just simply says if you default, the lender is going to get their money back. That's all it is, but they make you pay for it. You'll see on that mortgage calculator, there's a spot in there for PMI. If you're putting normally less than 5% down on an FHA loan, you're going to use 0.85%. If you're putting more than 5% down, it's 0.80%, just so you know, okay? So once you figure out and you've got all your numbers, now we need to work on our numbers. We need to work on our money. So now you're going to need to figure out how much is your down payment going to be, how much are your closing costs going to be, and how much in reserves do you need. Yes, you need reserves. Reserves is the money that's left over once you pay your down payment and your closing costs. These underwriting computers, these underwriting models are going to look for reserves. So you want to have at a minimum 2 months reserves left over once you close on the house. So let's say you put your down payment is $5,000. Your closing costs are going to be $5,000. So that's $10,000 you need off the rip. Okay. And let's say your monthly payment ends up being $1,500 a month. Your PITI is $1,500 a month. Okay. Then what you also need to include then is $3,000. That's 2 months worth of reserves. 1,500 times 2 is $3,000. So you're going to need at least $13,000 off the rip before we get started. If your down payment is $5,000, your closing cost is $5,000, and you got to have reserves. Believe me, you need reserves. A lot of people don't understand that home ownership is like having a car. You know, as soon as you pay that car off, your car was running fine. You understand what I'm saying? Your car was running. You didn't have no problems. Nothing was going on. You've been getting your little oil changes and everything on time. But as soon as you pay that last note, you know something finna go wrong. Something finna go wrong. The timing belt finna break. The radiator gonna go out. Something's gonna happen. It's the same difference with a house. Trust me. Even if you get a warranty, a 1-year warranty, you still gonna have a deductible that you're gonna have to pay. Because I'm telling you, the water heater gonna go out. Your heat and air unit. Something. You're going to have some squirrels move in the attic. And you're going to have to get them squirrels out of it. You're going to have something go on. Trust me. You're going to have something go on with that house. And so you're going to need some money. You're going to need some money saved up for after you close. I don't care even if it's a brand new house. Even if you buy a brand new build. At least here in the Nashville area, you still, a lot of times you got to buy your own refrigerator. You're going to have to buy your wash and dryer. You're going to have to, there's things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to put up blinds. My first house when I moved to Smyrna was brand new, built from the ground up, picked out the lot and everything. It was beautiful. But you know what I found out? It had 32 windows. You know, 32 windows. Even the laundry room had a window. Everything had a window. And do you know blinds are not cheap? So, like I said, I spent $3,000 on blinds on a new house. So believe me, there will be things that will come up and you need to budget for them ahead of time. Now, once you have all of those minimum figures together, what you're going to need to do is calculate your DTI. You already have your projected mortgage payment from the mortgage calculator. You need to take that number. Let's say it's $1,500 a month. Okay. You need to divide the $1,500 by your monthly income. That's going to give you your front end ratio on an FHA loan. So if your payment's going to be $1,500 and you make $4,500 a month, that's going to put you right at 30% DTI for the front number. A FHA has 2 numbers, your front end and your back end ratio. Normally, they don't want your front end ratio to be no more than 29 to 30% of your total gross income. Okay. Now, also on FHA, you have a back end ratio, and that is normally 41%. Up to about 45%, depending on how strong your credit is. Okay. So this is where you're going to take your projected mortgage payment, and you're going to add in the total of all of those minimum payments on your debt. Okay, so your house payment plus all your debt needs not go over 41, at the most 45% on the back end. Okay, so now you have figured out your DTI. You have figured out, and you may need to adjust. Let's say that front end ratio is looking more like 50%. Then you're gonna have to find another house. You're gonna have to do something different. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Okay, you're going to have to do something else. Maybe you need to look in another area about buying a house that may be less expensive or something like that. You may need to, make sure that your income is correct. Make sure that the numbers that you're using are correct. But you need to do all of this before you even get started. Make sure you have your numbers right. I'm gonna give just a couple of pieces of advice. Do not buy a house with a man or woman, whichever way you go, with a man or woman that you are not married to. I explained this in a previous video. I'll link that video for you, but don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because it's going to end up ugly for somebody. Okay? Don't do it. If you're not married to that person, don't do it. And some of y'all, even if y'all married to them, y'all might want to give them the side eye, check them out, make sure they straight, look at their credit too and everything, because before you even go down that road, make sure you're straight. On that same tip, don't buy a house with someone who's married to someone else. I can't tell you how many times I get this too. Do not buy a house with someone who is married to someone else, because at least I can tell you this from Tennessee standpoint. Let's say you and your boyfriend, y'all been together all these years because he ain't got no divorce or whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's on you. Okay, we've been down that road, okay? But the moment that you two buy that house together, his wife has automatic interest in that house. She's going to have to sign off on the deed when you close because he is married to her. In the future, if you even want to refinance, sell, whatever, she's going to have to sign off on it. Or he, if you're marrying a lady and she's got a husband or whatever, however it works out, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be so desperate and trying to keep up with the Joneses that you're going into a bad situation that you know is bad. You know it's bad. You hear that still small voice telling you, don't do it, don't do it, then don't do it. It's better to wait and buy a house when you have peace of mind knowing that it's yours, it's all yours, you handling it, it's your business, than to go into buying a house with someone where it's just going to be stressful and it's going to be drama filled all the time. Again, my name is Rhonda Burgess and I'm a real estate broker and mortgage underwriter here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. I will include all the links down below. If you need to reach me at any time you're interested in buying or selling a house here in the Nashville area, I'd be glad to help you. My number is 615-554-0832. Thank you, and as always, have a blessed day.